Hi, my name is Lisa Barletto, and we're here to have a special report on BP's recent labor and environmental issues. The spotlight is about BP's labor strategies and the recent oil spill that took place in the Gulf, which is the largest BP oil spill in the U.S. history. When you compare the Gulf spill with the last oil leak that took place in Alaska, which happened in 2006, the Gulf made the first one look like nothing. Let's speak to Specialist Brian in Studio B.
Thank you, Lisa. The recent oil spill was very dramatic and possibly the most costly issue ever in BP history. The former CEO of BP, Tony Hayward, said he just wants his life back and cannot wait for this oil spill to be over. BP has put aside $32 billion in assets to help pay for potential costs of the spill. Mr. Hayward had recently resigned from CEO position with a severance pay of 1 year salary of 1.1 million euros, roughly $1.6 million US, and kept his $12 million pension fund for a new position in Russia. On top of the package, he received $3 million in bonuses and $33.6 million in compensation, such as stock offerings. As of October 1st, an American, Bob Dudley, has taken Tony Hayward's CEO position in London and will hand over oil spill response coordination to Lamar Mackey, the chairman and president of BP America. Everyone from BP agrees that the April 20th oil rig explosion that killed 11 workers was a tragedy, and BP holds a fair share of accountability. Political specialist Darren Caesar will tell you many reasons as to why the spill occurred and what we can expect out of it. Darren?
Thank you, Brian. Well, the spill occurred in deep water oil drilling conditions, which is sort of a new exploration for oil companies up until recently. The amount of water pressure and cooler temperatures has already made it a difficult task to extract the oil. BP will shift some of the accountability to the U.S. government for having zero regulations for emergency shutoff valves on the offshore rigs. But there's also talk that Halliburton used improper cementing of the underground well, which could have produced the blowout. BP had a smart PR tactic by ousting Tony Hayward after some of his personal comments. Instead, he was compensated pretty well. No one's sure the damage that the oil will do to the environment, the southern coast, the swamps, and the freshwater deltas, but in time we will see if $32 billion is enough to fix the problem. We'll now go to Michael Hernandez, who's on scene at the spill of the Gulf, and will describe firsthand the cleanup process of the recent BP oil spill.
Thanks, Darren. Hi, I'm Mike, reporting live at the scene of Gulf of Mexico oil spill, where BP estimated to be losing $17 billion quarterly. Much to say, these workers behind me in the white shirts and red pants are prisoner workers. Many locals seem to be enraged that BP could use free labor to help clean up BP's problem, while unemployment rates down in Mississippi and Louisiana are sky high, and most local businesses are on hold until the cleanup is final. As for BP, they are smart for using prison labor to clean up their problem, but we will try to speak to a few locals on the matter, maybe even interview a prisoner or two. Hi, can you tell me how you feel about this situation?
Well, I'm outraged. I'm unemployed and BP gets to use 20,000 free workers to clean up their own mess? And hell, they won't tell you this labor's cheap and silent. These prisoners can't speak to you, and BP gets a huge tax write-off.
Man, let me tell you what I think. It's all very loud. It's all everywhere. It's all
Quincy, get the hell out of here. I'm trying to have an interview with this young gentleman. And they get a huge tax write-off at the end of the day. I think it's all wrong.
Thanks, Bill. I just received information that BP receives $2,400 in tax write-offs per inmate they have working here. These inmates work 12-hour days, 6 days a week, which is 72 hours a week. The worst part is 70% of Louisiana's inmates are African Americans. Talk about slave labor. Their workday starts at 6 a.m. with a half-hour lunch break, and their day ends at 6 p.m. Plus, they are forbidden to speak at any media by the order of BP's notorious gag rule. Repercussions for rejection of job or speaking to the media will count as a loss of earned good time, meaning the time they are working to get out early will be added right back to their sentence if they do not follow the rules. Let's go to John Benedict on the scene in Alaska of the last spill they had in 2006. John?
Thank you, Mike. I'm here at Purdue Bay, Alaska, the scene of BP's last major spill incident. Just some background information on this site today. There was a loss of 5,000 barrels of oil due to a dime-sized corroded pipe. For this action, they were fined $20 million by the government, and it cost them an additional $1 million to reopen. This, however, is nothing compared to the incident that occurred in the Gulf. In the Gulf, I have here that there were 4.9 million barrels, which covered a whopping 68,000 square miles. This was all due to a C4 blowout, which left the whole area crippled. The top three fields of work at BP are engineering, science, and business. Engineers of all kinds maintain, improve, and develop new ideas, but also, and more importantly, they problem solve for future oil exploration and production to keep BP superior to all competitors. Scientists such as geologists are responsible for examining the earth and determining the best places to drill for oil wells. They do this by examining extensive amounts of data or in the lab using new technology to help BP allocate the most abundant amount of oil as possible. Business jobs entail gas trading and financial analysts. They determine the products, supply and demand, pricing, management, marketing, and accounting to ensure that the company operates efficiently, but more importantly, effectively. BP offers generous and flexible graduate reward packages along with salaries and other benefits. BP's highly competitive starting salaries vary depending on experience and academic achievement. In 2011, minimum salaries were reported to be in between 32 and 34,000 euros, which equates roughly to $42,000 to $45,000 a year. Not bad for a college graduate, but also it's important to note that if you have your MBA or PhD, that number is significantly increased. Salaries are reviewed twice a year, are increased based on performance. Also, you can receive flex allowances of up to 15% of your salary, and depending on if you're able to work abroad or offshore at the drilling spaces, there may be further allowances paid. Back to you in the studio, Brian.
Thank you, John. Now we see the differences in labor strategies BP uses to maximize profits and minimize costs. Incidents occur in all corporations, and it's only a matter of business. This is one example of how a company might handle an issue. Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Brian, and the rest of the William Patterson News team. This was a Spotlight special based on BP's labor strategies and a couple incidents which happened in the past decade. We hope you got something out of it. And signing off, Lisa Barletto, and have a good night.
Mike, scene, take one.
We're get an action cue, or is Mike scene take
What
one?
the fuck?
I don't know.
I was like,
Three.
Oh, shit, I just said go ahead, Dave.
Many locals seem to be enraged by the BP could use free labor to use the clean fuck. Many locals seem to be enraged by the cause of as for BP, they rather use smart fuck. Hi, can you tell me how you feel about the situation? Day starts at 6 a.m. with a half-hour labor. What was that? Day starts at 6 a.m. with a half-hour lunch, and their day ends at 6 p.m. Plus, they are forbidden. I think I skipped one.
We hope you got something out of it. And signing off,